Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today we are going to talk about consistency in language learning. We will learn how to make language learning into a daily habit. In one of my recent videos, I talked about some language learning mistakes, and one of those mistakes was related to consistency. What I mean is, if you aren't really regular with your language studies, you are likely to experience some difficulties and problems. So in this video, we are firstly going to learn about the importance of consistency in language learning and not only, and then I'm going to share 3 tips that I personally use to maintain consistency in my language learning. Let's go. If you're studying, trying to get a new habit, learning a language, exercising, you may have realized the effects of consistency, or at least the importance of this thing in your life, because being regular is literally the key if you like to be successful in something that requires some repetition. Language is one of those things. Your brain actually collects some small pieces of information and then you just bring everything together, encore et encore une fois, and then you will actually have something bigger that's called a language. That's the step to fluency. You are just creating some parts in your brain related to that language. But if you just like them to add up like this and this, you should just be able to maintain those connections and you shouldn't spend a lot of time without working on that language or that thing in general. You may have tried several exercises that have something to do with repetition while you're learning a language. For example, repeating vocabulary lists, making grammar exercises, reading a dialogue and trying to say the same things. Those are all somehow connected to repetition, and you may have realized that it's essential for language learning. As you repeat the things, you're actually building yourself something that's called the language. And if you make those repetitions with fewer and fewer time breaks, it's going to be actually more efficient. Consistency helps you to learn a language in a faster way. Actually, without consistency, there is still things that you can achieve. For example, in some of my languages, I can't really observe a regular pattern. I just start learning that language, I study it for a month, and then I just take the longest break ever, and then I just go back to this language for a few weeks. My case in Swedish, I just started learning it, studied it, and stopped studying it, and then I study Swedish whenever I want. I still speak this language quite a bit, and I have a comprehension level that's improving every other day. But if I studied Swedish regularly since 3 months that I've been learning it, can you imagine the result that I would actually get? And can you compare that to the result that I'm getting right now? Just some comprehension and a few phrases that I can say. You can still learn languages without planning everything perfectly, without being super regular, but you won't have the best results. So if you want to fix this, I invite you to follow these 3 tips. First tip is differentiate what's learning and what's practicing. In every language, you should have a list of activities that you're doing to actually learn this language, like the grammar, the vocabulary, the things that build this language from zero. That can be the language course, your teacher, the textbook, the YouTube course, and everything. This teaches you the language. This is the main material. And on the other side, you should have some other stuff that still teach you the language, but not in that immersive way. That should be podcasts, that should be books that you're reading, that can be some random YouTube videos, that can be songs, that can be texting friends. And I just want you to compare those activities, because you will realize that immersive activities just take more time and effort. You should actually sit and study if you like to do these kind of things. And those are actually essential for language learning, because if you're not learning any of these, there's no way that you're going to speak that language at the end. You're just spending some effort. And when you look at those activities that you do to practice language, you can realize that those take less time, those are more fun to do, and the more you study the language, the more that they're going to get efficient. Understanding the difference between those activities can help you with planning, because not everyone has plenty of time every day to study languages. The time period in my life when I studied languages the most active way was during the lockdown, because I was a high school student and my only responsibility was attending classes, online classes, which I could simply ignore, and I did. And I learned 4 languages instead. But right now, I'm 19, I'm living alone, I'm living abroad, I'm studying at university, I need to clean, I need to cook, I need to work on my content and everything. So I have more more responsibilities. As a result, I can't study languages as regular as my 16-year-old self, but that's still not a problem because understanding and categorizing the language learning activities helps you to establish a language learning routine. You can't maybe study with a textbook every other day, but you can do that once or twice a week. And all the other remaining days, you can actually do something to practice this language. Since I came here to Italy, every time when I'm cooking or just washing the dishes, I always listen to Swedish podcasts. And I can't really say that I study Swedish regularly, but I still have a comprehension level growing every day. If I study, that will be better and growing more. But even when I don't study, I still have this comprehension level going better. So just decide on your activities. What helps you to learn this language? What helps you to practice this language? And combine them. Divide the time not equally, but in a wise way, depending on your activities, depending on your work, school, and other stuff that you are supposed to do. Second point is creating yourself a challenge. Challenges are great opportunities to see how much you can achieve in a given time frame. Sometimes in the beginning of a month, I decide like this month I'm going to listen to German language for like more than 30 hours, which equals to more than 1 hour every day. So I just create myself a Notion page and I insert every other day for how many minutes I'm listening to German language. And at the end of the month, I just sum up everything and I have a result. And that's a challenge for me. And I also used to say stuff like, this month I'm going to study B1 Russian every day, and that's actually how I completed the B1 course. If you set yourself a goal like this, something really specific, you should have the amount of time or the course or the chapters that you're studying. And if you just keep a track of this, at the end you will have a great result. This month you can actually set yourself a language learning goal and you can try something new for 30 days, and at the end you can observe your successful results. If you're looking for a way to do it, I want to talk to you about this video sponsor Lingoda and their language sprint, which is a special offer because this sprint lasts a month. During the month, you can choose taking either 15 or 30 classes, and at the end of the challenge, if you're successful, you can take 50% cashback or new free class credits. Reasons why I would recommend you to try Lingoda Sprint is that Lingoda is a really professional online language school and you can learn German, English, Spanish or French with native teachers and a few students in each class. And it's completely flexible. If you have other responsibilities during the day, you can choose at what time you're going to take your classes, and you can also choose a topic among many topics that Lingoda offers. With all the tools and materials that Lingoda has on the website, you can actually create an immersive language learning environment because it will also contribute to your speaking and using the language in the daily life. If you don't want to miss out on this offer and see how much you can change in your language skills during a month, I have some offers for you. Because if you click the link below this video, you can actually receive a 30% Black Friday discount, and if you use the code that you see on the screen, you can also receive 20 euros off your registration. If you like to win additional prizes on top of your discount, you can actually try Lingoda's Black Friday raffle or fortune wheel, and all the information that you will need will be in the description box of this video. After watching this video, you can actually think of a new language challenge and you can share your challenge in the comments with other language learners, and maybe you can inspire each other to learn more during a given time frame. Because even if you can't always be regular, those kind of self-challenges that you make can help you to increase the amount of vocabulary that you know or improve your speaking skills or your language skills in general. So just discuss in the comments what you're going to do with your target language for the next month. And my last point to be more regular in language learning is going to be incorporating languages into your daily life. Many polyglots, when people ask them this question, like how you can just maintain all those languages and never forget something. Actually, we forget, but you got it, right? Like, how we just remember большинство вещей. Like, the answer mostly is like, those people make languages a great part of their life. Literally everything in their lives is somehow connected to the languages or to culture that they are trying to get to know. After reaching a certain level in the language that you're learning, it's quite essential to make this language a part of your life. Because what you can observe with your native language is that you are actually spending some time in your childhood to learn this language, and then in primary school you're learning about rules and details, and then the rest of your life you're spending getting exposed to this language and you're still learning a bunch of new stuff without even realizing it. And that's something that you can actually do with foreign languages as well. For example, there are a few languages in which I kind of mastered the grammar and I have a great amount of vocabulary. And right now I still want to keep those languages, and I'm reading books, or I'm watching some shows, or I'm talking to people, or I'm just talking to myself. While coming here to Italy, I brought a few books with me and none of them are in Turkish. All of the books that I brought with me are in French, in German, in Dutch, in Russian, and because I still want to be connected with those languages even if when I can't study them, I spend most of my day listening to music. Whenever I do something that doesn't require thinking a lot, I'm going to somewhere or I'm cleaning and everything, yeah? I just listen to music, and all the music that I'm listening to is in foreign languages, not a single song in Turkish. So that actually makes everything I do into a language learning activity. Recently, one of my friends told me that he rides his bike every day. He lives in Sweden and he just uses his bike quite often for hours every day. And while he's riding his bike, he listens to podcasts and languages. And he's a polyglot, and he speaks a lot of languages fluently with the perfect accent. He told me that, and I never thought it that way, because he also told me that he doesn't learn languages in the same way as me, because I mostly have a language learning notebook and I tend to be more regular, like more organized way maybe I'd say, but he says that he never had a proper language notebook, but he always listened to podcasts while riding his bike, and since he spends hours doing it, he actually has great results. And actually observing how he speaks or writes Turkish, I can say that what he's doing really works. He just spends a lot of time getting exposed to this language, and he does it while doing something that takes a great amount of his daily time, riding a bike. You can just adapt this to your situation, and at the end he actually has a great amount of input in that language. Actually, like, I have taught us in that way, but I had never seen such clear results. It's actually up to you how much you're going to get exposed to this language. You are creating your environment, the things that surround you, and all of these just have a great impact on the future of your target language. If you like to sound more natural, if you like to sound more like a native speaker with more sophisticated phrases and words, actually that's completely up to you, and you can just adjust the things, adjust the stuff that you're seeing, that you're listening to, and how much you're doing that kind of practice. If you like to improve your conversational language, you can actually focus on that kind of input. If you like to focus more on the academic language, you can maybe try reading more articles or trying to learn that kind of vocabulary from special materials. And by creating yourself some external resources which aren't directly language studying, but which still have a lot to do with languages, like with sounds and words and phrases, everything, you are still actually building yourself some knowledge in your brain. So just think of some ways in which you can incorporate this language into your daily life. If you adjust your habits, if you adjust your preferences, believe me, your language skills are going to react in the same way. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully all my 3 tips were useful for you. If you follow these tips and if you try to maintain some consistency, you are going to fix many problems that you're currently experiencing with the language that you're learning. So just pay attention to everything I said in this video. If you'd like to support me, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my social media accounts, and you can also watch my other videos. Thanks for your time and attention, and see you in another video. Ciao!